I'm a couple living in a rental house with Garen. Recently, he has been leaving early and coming back late, and I often can't find him. In a fit of anger, I slapped him. The bullet comments appeared. The male lead was about to take out the engagement ring in his pocket, but was slapped back by the female supporting character's slap. If only the female supporting character had shown a little more tolerance and understanding towards the male lead, the enormous wealth that the male lead will earn in the future wouldn't have been snatched up by the female lead. With one slap, the male lead's last bit of dignity was slapped away, and the two went their separate ways. I closed my eyes and slapped him again with my backhand. What's hidden in your pocket? Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. Garen raised his head and pursed his lips tightly. He already had fair skin, and with this slap, 2 clear handprint marks appeared on his face. They looked particularly prominent. I squeezed my hand that was numb from the pain and repeated, "What's hidden in your pocket?" LOL. Does the female supporting character think that the male lead will still propose to her after this? It's okay. Later, our female lead will come to comfort the male lead. If the female supporting character didn't seek her own downfall, she wouldn't be called a female supporting character. Anyone could understand the content of the bullet comments. So I'm the female supporting character who's seeking her own downfall. Garen and I were still at a standstill. It seemed that today, he really wouldn't take out the ring. The phone on the table rang. It was Garen's. I sighed and decided not to force him anymore. Forget it. Go answer the phone. I turned and walked towards the bedroom. Out of the corner of my eye, I accidentally glanced at the name on the phone screen. Lynn. It couldn't be a guy, right? Could this be the female lead mentioned in the bullet comments? It would be a lie to say I wasn't sad. Garen and I have known each other for 5 years and been in a relationship for 3 years. Both of our families are from ordinary backgrounds. After finishing our studies, we stayed in the same city to work hard. In order to save some rent, we resolutely moved in together. The rental house isn't big, but every item in it was jointly purchased by us. We regarded this as our temporary home and decorated it very warmly. We also adopted a cute little cat. I looked around the small rental house reluctantly. Perhaps before long, every bit of this place will become a past memory. I lay on the bed, and tears couldn't stop streaming down. As I expected, soon the sounds of the door opening and closing came from outside. Garen had gone to find someone else. Realizing this fact, I couldn't hold it in any longer and burst into tears. My heart also ached with each twitch. My first relationship in life ended just like this. Woohoo! In the empty rental house, only my sorrowful wailing remained. I don't know how long I cried before I fell asleep. When I woke up, I found Garen sitting by the bedside. He stared at my red and swollen eyes, looking a bit at a loss whether to laugh or cry. "You hit me, and you're still crying." It seemed that he wasn't angry with me anymore. It looked like he had been comforted by someone. I turned my back to him, too lazy to pay attention to him. He didn't mention breaking up at this moment. Did he want to have a foot in both boats? So when he pulled me, I slapped his hand again. "Don't touch me with your dirty hands." Garen was extremely angry and stood up, pointing at himself. "I'm dirty, Maria. I shouldn't have been so kind as to buy you medicine." "Wait. What medicine?" I raised my hand and took a look. Sure enough, there was some light yellow ointment on it. But what did that mean? It was just a last-ditch effort for this relationship. Since he wouldn't say it, then I would be the one to bring it up. "Garen, let's break up." Damn. I didn't expect the female supporting character to be the one to say break up first. But later, when she sees the male lead getting better, she will be the one to cling to him shamelessly. Just break up already. You two are not suitable. Garen was taken aback for a moment, as if he couldn't believe his ears. What did you say? I said, let's break up. I'm tired. Garen lowered his eyes to look at me, and his voice was surprisingly calm. I want to know why. I sniffled and said, because I don't want to wait for you until 1 or 2 o'clock every night. Sometimes I don't even see you for several days. You clearly know that I'm afraid of the dark. The most important thing was that instead of waiting for him to dump me, it was better for me to dump him. At least I could keep some dignity. This female supporting character is really making me laugh. The male lead is clearly working hard on his career, but she only thinks about herself. She deserves to be poor for a lifetime. It was right for the male lead not to propose. Such a girlfriend will only hold him back. The female lead is better. She can not only help the male lead in his career but also provide a lot of emotional value. Garen probably thought the same way. Right. I secretly wiped away my tears and started packing my things. Garen stared at my back, trying to persuade me to stay. I've said that after I'm done with this busy period, I'll spend more time with you. Why don't you believe me? I don't agree to the breakup. You don't have to be in a hurry to move out. I won't come back these few days. You can calm down properly. Garen left, leaving me alone. I calculated that the rent would expire in half a month. I might as well stay here temporarily until I find the next place to live. I went to work and came back as usual every day, trying my best to keep myself busy and not think about Garen. 3 days later, in the evening, the door of the rental house was knocked on. I thought Garen had come back. I looked at myself in the mirror. After making sure I looked the same as usual, I opened the door, but in front of me was a strange woman. She smiled and greeted me, saying, I'm Garen's friend. He asked me to come and get some things for him. At that moment, my heart ached as if pricked by a needle. I forced myself to look calm and asked, You're Lynn, right? The girl was stunned for a moment and then nodded. I gave her the things. After thinking about it, I still held back my pain and reminded her, Garen doesn't like to be disturbed after drinking. Just let him sleep peacefully. Also, he's allergic to sesame paste. Remember to prepare a mask for him every day. He can't stand the smell of strong stimulants. Upon hearing this, the girl showed a triumphant smile on her face. Okay, I've noted it down. I'll take good care of him for you. The moment I closed the door, I squatted on the ground, feeling empty inside. Those bullet comments appeared again. Tonight, after the male and female leads got drunk in the bar, they couldn't help themselves and had a relationship. Only then did the male lead realize his true feelings. It's so exciting. The male lead didn't stop the whole night. The female lead will be bullied so badly. I feel sorry for my girl. Garen didn't agree to the breakup, but he went to sleep with someone else so quickly. The whole night, I didn't know that he could be so energetic when drunk. Perhaps to completely give up on him, I went to the bar mentioned in the bullet comments. I searched room by room until I reached the one in the corner. Before I could push the door open, some embarrassing sounds came out from inside. Be gentle. I'm almost there. Aha. My hand on the doorknob trembled slightly. I couldn't believe that Garen could be so dissolute. My eyes suddenly felt sour. Anyway, since I was already here, I would see with my own eyes how disappointed this person I had loved for 5 years would make me. The moment the door opened, screams came from inside. 2 strange men and women looked at me in horror. Realizing what was going on, I apologized repeatedly. Just as I stepped out, I saw Garen and a girl entering another private room one after the other. It turned out that I had made a mistake. The momentary feeling of relief that had just risen in my heart disappeared without a trace. My reason told me that I should leave. Otherwise, it would still be me who felt sad. but my feet wouldn't listen to me. I took out my phone and dialed Garen's number. He answered the phone quickly. "Have you cooled down?" From the sound of his voice, Garen seemed to be in a good mood. "Can I go home tonight?" I stared at the door of the private room and instead of answering, I asked, "Where have you been?" There was a pause on the other end. "What's wrong?" "Don't you dare say it." There was a lot of noise on the phone, and Garen's voice came through intermittently. "What do I have to be afraid of saying?" "Maria, can you stop being so suspicious all the time?" Garen, who pushed the door out, happened to see me. He put away his phone and walked towards me. "Why are you here? Why can't I be here if you can?" The female supporting character is at it again. If only she could talk properly. She wouldn't push the male lead further and further away. There's no way around it. They're not the official couple. They're destined to miss each other for various reasons. Actually, it's not entirely the female supporting character's fault for making a scene. The male lead isn't honest enough either. Since they're together, they should discuss everything with each other no matter what happens. In this relationship, the female supporting character has already lost her sense of security, but the male lead has never noticed it. I stared at him angrily, looking like I refused to admit defeat. Garen was amused by me. Okay, it's my fault. Then wait for me for a while. I'll send you back later. Without thinking, I blurted out, "Aren't you going to introduce your friend to me?" Even I was shocked by what I said. What on earth was I doing? That day he hid the ring, and even the bullet comments were telling me that there was no future for us. But when I learned that he was going to have a relationship with someone else, I still couldn't accept it. We had been together for 3 years. More than 1,000 days and nights. I knew that I couldn't let go of this relationship in a short period of time. I started to be anxious about gain and lost myself. Because I cared too much. I wanted to be cherished. I held back my tears and said, "If it's not convenient, forget it. I'll take a taxi home myself." Garen grabbed me who was about to leave, and the light in his eyes flickered on and off. "You didn't like noisy places before, especially when there were a lot of people. You were always shy. I thought you wouldn't want to come to this kind of place, so I never asked you." Garen took my hand and walked towards the private room. There were probably 7 or 8 people inside. Garen introduced them to me one by one. After going around and coming back, it seemed that he just remembered to introduce my identity. Suddenly, someone put their arm around my shoulder. Garen said in a loud voice, "This is my girlfriend. You're probably meeting her for the first time." I subconsciously looked at the only girl in the private room besides me. That was the girl who came with Garen at the beginning. It was the first time I saw her. So she was Lynn. Sensing my gaze, she also looked at me, but it wasn't a friendly look. Or maybe I was seeing things. What's going on? Why did the female lead meet the female supporting character? Will there still be that kind of thing tonight? Sure, there will be. With the female supporting character's temper, she will definitely cause trouble soon. Didn't you see that the jealousy in her eyes was almost overflowing when she saw the female lead? I touched my face. Was it really like that? To verify it, I ran to the restroom. In the mirror, except for not looking very energetic, I was no different from usual. I splashed some cold water on my face. Just as I was about to go back, Lynn suddenly appeared. She came straight to the point. "You and Garen are not suitable. If you really care about him, you shouldn't tie him down like this." I asked coldly, "What do you mean?" "Garen has a project in Hong Kong City. You should know about that, right? But because of you, he has been reluctant to leave. Also, the other day, I accompanied him to meet a client. Although he had put on some medicine, I could still see the handprint marks on his face. Do you know that what you've done is likely to ruin all his efforts over the years? If you really love him, let him go. We can discuss whatever you want, whether it's money or something else. I clenched my fists, letting my nails dig into my palms. Did Garen ask you to say these things to me? I knew that Garen had recently secured a big project with very substantial profits. I didn't know anything more than that. As for those 2 slaps, I still couldn't figure out why I was so impulsive. That day was originally my birthday. I cooked a meal and waited from 7 o'clock in the evening until 11 o'clock before Garen came back. We got into an argument while talking. Garen told me not to wait for him in the future. In a fit of anger, I couldn't hold back and slapped him. That was also the first time I slapped someone in my life. It wasn't that I was angry with him for coming back late or for forgetting my birthday. I just felt that his attitude was wrong. Thinking about it now, he wasn't really in the wrong either. I was being too demanding. I always regarded love as too important and thus ignored myself. Lynn didn't answer. Maybe she was acquiescing, or maybe she deliberately wanted me to misunderstand. I smiled and said, "First, I'm Garen's girlfriend, and it's not your place to interfere in our business. Second, I don't think I have the ability to influence Garen's decisions. Third, if such a small matter can ruin all his efforts over the years, then it can only be said that he doesn't deserve to succeed. Why do I think the female supporting character is kind of cool? The female lead is a bit straightforward, but what she said is also the truth, right? But persuading someone to break up doesn't seem right either, does it?" I toasted each of Garen's friends with a glass of wine. As a result, I got drunk. My mind was also in a mess. After Garen carried me into the car, he wanted to go back and get something. I grabbed him and my mouth turned down, ready to cry. "Garen, don't leave." Big tears fell down. Garen was immediately flustered, but he also seemed not to know what to do. He stupidly reached out his hand to catch my tears. "Don't cry. If there's anything I did wrong, tell me and I'll change it. When you cry like this, I feel bad too." Perhaps it was the effect of the alcohol. In the past, I didn't dare to show all my emotions in front of Garen, but at this moment, I let go of all my reserve. I hugged his neck without caring about anything and asked, "Are you going to find Lynn?" Garen stared at me with a look of being at a loss whether to laugh or cry. "What would I go to find her for? What are you thinking about all day long?" I wiped away my tears and looked not far from the car. "But she came to find you." Not long after Garen carried me into the car, Lynn chased after us. I couldn't see her expression clearly. I only knew that when Garen was coaxing me, she was also watching. "Wait for me for a moment." Garen let go of me and wanted to go over. I stubbornly held his hand and refused to let go. "You're not allowed to go over there." My eyes became sour again. Although I had known for a long time that I would lose, I didn't want to lose so miserably. Garen chuckled and actually agreed. When Lynn came over, she gave me a discontented look before starting to talk about the matter. "The project leader wants to meet us tonight." Garen looked at the time and frowned. "Didn't we agree to meet tomorrow? They changed the time at the last minute." Garen hesitated for a moment and then said bluntly, "Then I'll send Chirue back first." Lynn stopped him. "What's wrong with you now? Can't you tell what's important and what's not? You know very well how important this project is to us. Maria is an adult. She shouldn't have drunk so much if she can't handle alcohol. Besides, there are so many taxis on the road. Do you really have to send her yourself?" I finally understood why Lynn dared to come to me and say those words. It turned out that she was like this in front of Garen too. Just as I was curious about how Garen would answer, I saw his face gradually turn cold. "Lynn, I hope you haven't forgotten that we have a superior-subordinate relationship. I have my own plans for my personal affairs." "Ah." The male lead is so mean. How can he say that to our female lead? The female lead is doing this for the job, unlike the female supporting character, who only holds others back in various ways. So annoying. What else can the female supporting character do besides whining? Lynn's eyes turned red. I'm doing all this for your own good. We both started from the bottom and should cherish every opportunity even more. Maria has influenced you repeatedly. Do you really want to take her with you to Hong Kong City? Garen retorted. Why not? When we talk about work, let's just talk about work. You have no right to interfere in my personal life. Lynn left in tears. Garen called the project leader and found that the other party didn't know anything about the meeting tonight at all. Seeing that Garen wasn't surprised at all, my heart grew colder inch by inch. Garen knew Lynn's way of doing things, yet he still indulged her nonsense. He must have always treated her specially. I sat in the passenger seat, with my head drooping, and remained silent. Garen said several things to me, but I didn't reply. When the car turned into a small road, my eyes suddenly lit up. Garen, I want to eat fried rice noodles. Garen raised his eyebrows slightly. Is it the restaurant we used to go to often? Yes. After parking the car, we walked into that small shop hidden in the alley together. When the boss saw us, he showed a friendly smile. You haven't been here for a while. I thought you had moved away. Garen replied. Well, we probably will soon. But even if we move, we'll still come back to eat here when we have time. The boss nodded. Is it still the same as before? A serving of fried rice noodles with an egg and no chili. Garen looked at me and said, Bring 2 servings with meat and eggs. There weren't many people in the restaurant at this time, and the boss served the food very quickly. I looked at the plate of fried rice noodles in front of me, which looked and smelled delicious. And for a moment, I was in a trance. 3 years ago, Garen and I had just moved here. Since we had just started working, our salaries weren't high. After a month, after paying the rent and daily expenses, we didn't have much money left. Sometimes when we wanted to have a late-night snack, we only dared to buy 1 serving and share it between the 2 of us. Garen would pick all the eggs into my bowl and then watch me eat with a satisfied look on his face. When I have money in the future, I'll order fried rice noodles with meat and eggs for you. I was touched and covered his mouth at the same time. Keep your voice down. People will laugh at us if they hear you. Garen didn't care. What's there to be afraid of? I'm still young. It doesn't matter if I'm poor. After saying that, he seemed to think of something and hugged me. Thank you for not minding that I'm poor and still willing to be with me. If I can make a name for myself in the future, I'll marry you right away. If I can't, Garen paused for a moment. That's not possible. I will definitely marry you. There were tears in my eyes. Okay, I'll wait for you. Now, we don't lack the money for that bowl of rice noodles at all. Garen's career is going smoothly, and he has his own social circle. My job is not bad either, and the salary I get each month is relatively good. But the distance between us is getting farther and farther. I'm not as sophisticated as Garen. I'm even a bit introverted in my personality. I don't like socializing and usually just like to stay at home, play games, and pet the cat. In the past 2 years, we have been busy with our own things. The only connection between us is that small rental house. So, when he started coming home later and later, I realized that there might be something wrong between us, but I didn't know how to solve it. It's easy to say the words of breaking up, but it's not that easy to break off that relationship. Garen, I still want to drink, I suddenly said. I thought Garen wouldn't agree, but the next second, there was a bottle of beer on the table. Garen took out a bottle opener and opened the beer. I'll drink with you. After drinking cup after cup of the cold liquid, my head became drowsy again. After Garen paid the bill, he bent down and picked me up. The conversation between him and the boss also gradually reached my ears. You've been together for a few years, right? Are you going to get married soon? I have that plan. That's great. The person by your side has never changed. Such happiness is rare in this world. A burning gaze landed on my face. Garen tightened his arms around me and said, I think so too. When we got home, Garen put me on the sofa. Sensing that he was about to leave again, I reached out and hooked my arms around his neck, and instinctively kissed him. Our breaths intertwined, mixed with a faint smell of alcohol. I gradually got carried away and straddled Garen, taking advantage of my drunkenness. I talked to myself. They said that you belong to the female lead, and they also said that you would have a relationship with her tonight. The whole night. It turns out that you still had some strength left when you were with me. Or is it that I'm not worthy of you giving your all? There was a hint of amusement in Garen's eyes. Maria, what nonsense are you talking about? If you want the whole night, just tell me. I'll try my best to satisfy you before making sure I don't exhaust myself to death. I chid and said, have I eaten few of the promises you made? Garen narrowed his eyes and skillfully pressed me down underneath him. Maria, I'm the kind of person who's most afraid of being provoked. Looking at the face that was gradually getting closer, I reached out and touched it. Did it hurt when I hit you that day? Garen's movements froze, and his eyes became even more gentle. The force has an equal and opposite reaction. I hurt as much as you did when you hit me. He grabbed my hand and kissed it. If I make you angry again in the future, don't hit me with your hand. You can use a stick or bite me with your mouth. If you hurt your hand, in the end, it's me who will feel sorry for you. I sniffled and shook my head. That's not the correct answer. You should say that you won't make me angry again in the future. Garen buried his face in my neck and laughed softly. Yes, my wife is right. That night, we didn't get to test Garen's real ability after all. Perhaps the effect of the alcohol kicked in, and soon I fell into a deep sleep. Garen's working hours were earlier than mine. When I woke up, he had already left. The memories of last night gradually came back. Garen didn't seem to have lost his feelings for me, as the bullet comment said. I took up my phone and sent the recording I made in the restroom last night to Garen. Didn't Lynn want to break up Garen and me? Then I won't let her have her way. Soon. Garen replied with a message. Received. I promise I won't let my wife down. In the afternoon, while I was at work, the bullet comments appeared again. Thanks to the female supporting character, the male lead actually fired the female lead. Don't worry. Soon the male and female leads will meet again in Hong Kong City. Nothing can stop the destined two from being together. The female supporting character won't be able to be proud for long, even if the male lead takes her to Hong Kong City with him. So what? By then, the male lead will become more and more excellent, and she won't even have a job. She can only attract the male lead's attention by constantly doing stupid things. Little does she know that the more she does this, the faster the male lead will get tired of her. No. Who said I was going to accompany Garen to Hong Kong City? I ignored those crazy comments. Garen called and said that he would come home for dinner tonight. After work, I was going to the vegetable market. Just as I walked out of the company gate, a friend request message popped up on my phone. Add me. I'll show you who the person Garen really loves is. I had seen Lynn's profile picture on Garen's phone before. Obviously, this person wasn't Lynn. Could there be a twist in the story? After these few days of the bullet comment storm, I could already accept everything calmly. I immediately added the person. Soon, the other side sent a picture. I clicked on it and found that it was a ring. It was exactly the same as the one Garen had hidden in his pocket that day. And why did I know that? Since the moment the bullet comments appeared, I had started to doubt their authenticity. So while Garen was taking a shower, I secretly rummaged through his coat. Sure enough, there was really a ring hidden in the pocket. The ring was inlaid with numerous small diamonds all over. Under the illumination of the light, it emitted a brilliant light. I had to admit that Garen had a good taste. The ring was very beautiful. This also meant that the bullet comments were indeed true. I quietly put it back. Even now, I still didn't have the courage to ask him about the ring. That ring had undoubtedly become a thorn in my heart. The other side sent a message. Do you want to know who Garen gave that ring to? You should know that for this brand of ring, a person can only customize one in their lifetime. I replied, if you want to say it, just say it directly. If you don't, I'll block you. The other side. Wait a moment. That ring is with my sister now. Garen gave it to her. You should understand that the person Garen loves is my sister. The tone in which she spoke reminded me of someone. You're the person who came to my house to get things that day, right? Lynn is your sister, isn't she? After a while, the other side replied, that's right. You're not worthy of Garen at all. Only my sister is worthy of him. They are a perfect match and the protagonists of this world. While you're just a female supporting character. A female supporting character with a miserable ending. Interesting. It seemed that I wasn't the only one who had awakened. I replied, Sister, the most important thing for you now is to uninstall the novel website on your phone. Also, in my world, I'm the protagonist, and I have the final say. I blocked the person. After getting home, I spent an hour cooking 4 dishes and 1 soup. Garen came back earlier than usual today. He also brought me a bunch of roses. I put the flowers away and turned around to the kitchen to wash the fruits. At this time, someone hugged me from behind around my waist. Garen leaned his head on my shoulder, looking affectionate. Wife, it's so good to have you. I urged. Go wash your hands and let's eat. Garen pulled me over and took a tissue to dry my hands little by little. Just as I was feeling puzzled, something was put on my ring finger. I raised my hand, and there was a ring on my ring finger. It wasn't the one inlaid with small diamonds, but another one. The ring was smooth and flat as a hole, with only a very bright large diamond inlaid at the top. Garen explained, I originally wanted to propose to you that day. Later, we had a quarrel, so I was angry and didn't take it out. I've never been slapped in my life, and only you dared to do it. Garen hugged me, although he was smiling. His eyes were red. Maria, I've given you a lot of my firsts. You must take responsibility for me. My nose became sour. Looking at him, there were some things I didn't know how to ask. Garen seemed to think of something and then said, By the way, the ring wasn't originally this one. It was a ring with small diamonds. I was afraid that if you slapped me again in the future, I might even bleed on my face. So I specifically went to exchange it for this one. I held his face in my hands and smiled with my eyes curved. Okay, I know you've been wronged. I won't slap you again in the future. I'm sorry. Garen put on a very magnanimous look. TCH. I won't bother arguing with you. After dinner, we cuddled on the sofa. Garen stroked the ring on my hand, looking content. I heard them say that small diamonds aren't valuable, and a complete diamond like this has a better meaning. It really seems to suit you more. Maria, let's get married and then go to Hong Kong City with me. I was originally smiling with my head down. When I heard the last sentence, my expression froze instantly. Go to Hong Kong City. Garen nodded. Yes. That project will take at least a year. I don't want to be separated from you. I stood up and said bluntly, We can get married, but I won't go to Hong Kong City with you. Why? Garen didn't understand. Perhaps in his opinion, since getting married was okay, there was nothing else that couldn't be done. Garen, you're going to Hong Kong City for your work. You don't want to be separated from me. But have you ever thought that I have a stable job now? If I go there, I'll have to start all over again, which is very disadvantageous to me. The bullet comments had already reminded me. I didn't want to be a woman who only depended on a man. I was very satisfied with my current job and life. If I were to give up my current job just to be with Garen all the time, that would be a great irresponsibility to my life. It's just a year. I can wait for you to come back here. Then we can get married or do whatever you want. Garen fell silent. I sighed. Do you not trust yourself or me? Garen was taken aback. We've never been separated for this long before. I comforted him. It's only a 3-hour flight from here to Hong Kong City. I can come and visit you. The female supporting character. Just keep acting up. When the male lead doesn't want you anymore, you'll have something to cry about. If the female supporting character doesn't go to Hong Kong City, it's just convenient for the male and female leads to develop their relationship. To the person upstairs, I just want to say it's hard to comment. On the day Garen left, I saw him off at the airport. He hugged me and said reluctantly while giving instructions, I've paid the electricity bill for a whole year. If you're afraid of the dark, you can sleep with the lights on. Your stomach isn't in good condition, so eat less cold food. The donkey hide gelatin I bought for you is in the cabinet. Remember to take it. Don't go out alone at night. If you hear someone knocking on the door, don't open it. I have the key and will come in by myself when I'm back. Seeing that Garen didn't seem to want to stop, I pushed him towards the security check. If you keep talking, you'll miss the flight. Actually, during this period, I thought a lot. As Garen said, we had never been separated for such a long time. I was used to relying on him before. Suddenly, I learned from the bullet comments that we wouldn't have a future together. When I brought up the breakup, it was more out of pettiness. During those 3 days, I cried myself to sleep every night. I had some regrets. But more importantly, I grew up. Whether Garen and I could have a future or not, I was first and foremost myself. You know, no one can accompany someone else forever. Love yourself first, and then love others. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, Garen had been in Hong Kong City for a month. He seemed to have a harder time getting used to living alone than I did. He would have a video call with me until very late every night. On the contrary, my attitude was much more indifferent. Garen was often dissatisfied. Maria, do you not like me anymore? I replied, I do like you. Honey, are you still wearing the ring? I showed him my hand. I'm still wearing it. Then do you miss me? I do miss you. Call me husband and let me hear it. Husband. When we weren't separated before, I never knew that Garen could be so mushy. But gradually, his messages became fewer and fewer. Sometimes he even forgot to have a video call with me at night. It was as if he suddenly became very busy. I told myself not to think too much. Until that day, the bullet comments appeared again. Great. The female lead and the male lead finally met again. Seeing the female lead cry, the male lead must feel bad too. Right. The male lead didn't refuse when the female lead picked food for him. These two are so sweet together. The female lead got injured, and the male lead was really worried. He even left his work to send her to the hospital. The male and female leads are probably going to end up together. After all, they are the official couple. Something's not right. I remember the male lead has already proposed to the female supporting character. Why are there still people shipping the male and female leads? To the person upstairs, the male lead should be with the female lead. Right. It's always been like this. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are always people who break the norm. I think the female supporting character is quite good too. Stop arguing. The male and female leads are in the same room at the moment. With a man and a woman alone like this, it's hard to believe that nothing will happen, right? I slowly clenched my fists. I took out my phone and instinctively wanted to buy a plane ticket to Hong Kong.
I showed him your photo, and he likes mature and charming women like you. Garen suddenly stood up. His fists clenched tightly with a creaking sound. Dave shrank his neck and didn't dare to say anything more. He left in a hurry after dinner. As soon as the door closed, I was pressed against the corner by Garen. Even if he's your cousin, you can't bring him home when I'm not here. I looked up and watched him with great interest. Now you know how it feels, right? Then when you were getting entangled with Lynn in Hong Kong City, did you ever think about how I felt? Garen looked inexplicably aggrieved. How did you know about that? Did Lynn tell you? I didn't answer, which was like a tacit admission. I couldn't very well say that it was the bullet comments. Garen suddenly hugged me tightly. I think Lynn is approaching me with some kind of mission. She's always trying to win me over. I've been fed up with her for a long time. I've told her countless times that I won't fall for her, but she still persists. Honey, do you know how hard I've been trying to avoid her these days? I almost couldn't come back to see you. Garen said that at the banquet last night. He and Lynn were locked in a room. He finally jumped out of the window to successfully get away from Lynn. He wasn't lying. The bullet comments told me all about it last night. So when he saw Dave today, those words just blurted out. I had some speculations in my mind, but I wasn't sure if they were right. Garen, let's get married. It'll also make Lynn give up completely. The wedding was arranged in a hurry, but all the necessary procedures were there. When Garen led me out of the hotel room, our way was blocked. Lynn, whom I hadn't seen for a long time, had lost her former arrogance. She looked gaunt and pleaded humbly with Garen. Garen, you can't marry her. I'm begging you. I won't pester you anymore in the future. I really won't. As long as you don't marry her, I'll do anything you ask. I swear. Garen took me and prepared to bypass Lynn, but she still wouldn't give up. Garen, I'm telling the truth. I'll die if you marry her. Garen and I stopped in our tracks at the same time. Lynn's face was full of determination. I'll tell you the truth. I'm bound to a strategy system, and the target is you. Garen, I can only survive if I succeed in the strategy. On the contrary, if you marry someone else, I'll die. Sure enough, it was more or less what we had guessed. I looked at Garen and said, if this is true, then if we get married, we'll be taking a life. Hope reignited in Lynn's eyes. She grabbed Garen's other hand as if holding onto a life-saving straw. Garen, I don't believe that after all this time. You have no feelings for me at all. If I really die, you'll definitely regret it. And even if you try to win me back later, it'll be too late. Garen shook her off forcefully. I think you've watched too many TV dramas. You're crazy. Then he turned to me and said, Honey, I don't think you're right. What do you mean that if we get married, we'll be taking a life? Why should we bear the consequences of others? Since she chose to target me, a man with a girlfriend, she should be prepared for failure. That's her own karma. Whether it's good or bad, it has nothing to do with us. Upon hearing this, Lynn fell to the ground in despair. Dave, who had been watching the whole process, eagerly stepped forward. Sister, stop targeting my brother-in-law. He's not a good person. He's really fierce. Well, I'll introduce my sports student classmate to you. He's handsome and strong. I'm sure you'll like him. You can change the person you're targeting. Garen rolled his eyes and pulled me away quickly. On the wedding stage, the host asked me if I was willing to marry Garen. I quietly leaned over to Garen's ear and asked, I've always forgotten to ask you, where did you put that ring with small diamonds? Garen was surprised but still replied seriously, I thought it wasn't worthy of you, so I just threw it in the trash. So that's how it was. Only then did I take the microphone from the host and said loudly, I do. A year later, Garen and I planned to move out of the rental house. Because we had bought a house and had our own real home. On the day of the move, I looked at everything in the house and couldn't help but wipe away a tear. After living here for several years, now that we were leaving, I was filled with reluctance. Garen probably felt the same way. He sat there for a long time without starting to pack. After a long while, he stood up, as if making a certain decision. Forget it. Don't bother packing. Let's keep renting it. When we want to come back and take a look someday, we can still find this place. You like the fried rice noodles from that restaurant, right? And it's close to here. When I have more money, I'll buy this rental house. Garen's words hit the nail on the head for me. We cooked our last dinner here. After eating and drinking our fill, we left empty-handed. His skin was already fair. With this slap, 2 clear handprint marks appeared on his face. The streetlights stretched our shadows very long. I deliberately slowed down after walking a few steps. Then, when Garen wasn't paying attention, I suddenly jumped onto his back. I coquettishly said, I'm tired from walking. Carry me. Garen wrapped his hands around my thighs and let out a brisk and hearty laugh. Yes, my dear wife. The gentle evening breeze caressed our faces, making us can't help but indulge in it. I suddenly realized that this was what happiness was. The end.